energizing, isn't it? It's great. You know, I don't know about you, but I feel as though last year a war was declared on anyone who believes in the freedoms and principles that made this country the greatest nation the world has ever known. We are the only country in the world where people literally risk their lives breaking into it instead of out of it. Why? Well, it's not because of the size of our government. You know, cycles are a law of the universe. Everything in this world, in our solar system, in our galaxy, and in the universe cycles. We are being told that capitalism has failed because we are in a downstroke in the cycle called the economy. It's like being told that summer has failed because it's winter. No matter how much it pretends, no government, including ours, ever has or ever will be able to stop those cycles. It's like trying to stop a tide from ebbing and flowing. But while government can't stop economic cycles, it can interfere with them. It can use them as an excuse for piling on our shoulders, our children's shoulders, and our children's children's shoulders oppressive taxation, overly burdensome social programs, and a national debt that will stretch tough economic times for a few months, like has been the case in this country, to lasting generations, like was the case in the Soviet Union. Our kids need heroes, but they don't need heroes like Fidel Castro, the new darling of Congress. They need heroes like the people who came from right here in our city. Dayton has a proud heritage. I've heard it said that more patents have come out of Dayton, Ohio than any other city in the world. A century ago, Dayton was a hotbed of entrepreneurial activity. At the same time, government began thinking it might be able to do things better than private enterprise, even back then. So a little over 100 years ago, the federal government decided it would spend $80,000, that's back when $80,000 was real money, to develop an airplane that could fly. It flew all right into the Potomac. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, a couple of bicycle mechanics who grew up not too far from where we are standing right now figured it out with $1,000 of their own money. $1,000 of private investment created a whole industry, giving rise to thousands of companies, employing millions of people, not just here in the U.S., but around the world for past, present, and future generations. I don't know about you, but I think giving a tax break to invest $1,000 like that makes a lot more sense than giving us a $1,500 tax break to buy a golf cart, which is just one of the many line items in the 1,000-page plus stimulus bill. Furthermore, Orville or Wilbur Wright, whose invention benefited all mankind, make a better hero or role model than a self-serving tyrannical dictator like Fidel Castro or his sidekick, Che Guevara. There is one thing, however, government does create better than free enterprise. It's called bureaucracy. Take its handling of the Katrina disaster. Compare that to how private citizens and businesses handle the disaster right here in our own hometown that is known as the Great Dayton Flood. No one talks about that much today because it champions the resolve and spirit of independent citizens instead of big government. That doesn't make it any less significant. In fact, it makes remembering what happened and what we did about it even more important today than ever. The flood of 1913 that occurred right around this time of year was far more devastating to Dayton than Katrina was to New Orleans. And it wasn't just the water that slammed Dayton, it was also the fires that broke out afterwards. You see, gas was used throughout the city back then more to light homes than to heat them. The floodwaters ruptured gas lines, fires broke out and raged out of control because firefighters could not get to them. When it came time to rebuild, there was no FEMA. The citizens of our great city had to rely on themselves and each other. The millions it cost to rebuild the city and the flood control system still guarding our city today came all from the donations from businesses and people just like us assembled here today. enterprise, private money, and ordinary citizens, just like us, rebuilt this city in less time, more efficiently, and more cost-effectively than time and money that has been squandered in New Orleans. The disaster down there remains a disaster. Thank goodness there was no FEMA around during the Dayton flood to get in the way of the gallant, indomitable private citizens of Dayton, Ohio.